Today we will talk about how to become the woman that every guy is willing to give princess treatment to. It all starts with you and the relationship that you have with yourself. Everything that you have inside will happen on the outside, just like everything that you feel on the inside will be on the outside, because there's something called the universal mind, meaning that the universe mirrors us, and everyone that you have in your vibrational field is to an extent a reflection of who you are. Hi, my name is Rebecca and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This video will be split into two parts. Now, in the first part, I will explain you the 5 essential rules for you to be able to receive princess treatment in the long run. Let's get started. We live in a 3D reality. However, there's also the 4D and 5D that you don't get to see. And this is also known as quantum physics. You can even Google it and Google more in depth what quantum physics is. But have you noticed, for example, that whenever you're having a bad day or you don't feel good within yourself, that all the things around you form a chain which also confirm the picture of you not feeling good within yourself or you having a bad day? And you know why that is so? That's because that's the vibrations and frequencies you are operating on. Just like the other way around, if you feel good within yourself and you're having an awesome day, all the events around you will confirm this image because that's the high vibrations you are operating on. So rule number 1 to receive princess treatment is to change the self-image that you have about yourself and pay attention the way you talk to yourself, the way you feel on the inside, and the way you treat yourself, because whatever we have on the inside will be reflected on the outside. For example, have you noticed that whenever you tell yourself on the inside, oh, I'm ugly today, I don't feel really good within myself, that no one approached you, versus when you told yourself, damn, I look good today, that's when suddenly everyone started to approach you because you were vibrating on different frequencies. When you were telling yourself that you look ugly today, you were vibrating on low vibrations and you were repelling everything. Versus when you told yourself that, damn, I look good today, you were vibrating on such high frequencies that all the people were magnetically drawn to you. So pay attention to the thoughts that consume you on a daily basis, because trust me, guys can pick up on that because our minds are all interconnected through the universal mind. If you constantly criticize yourself and you have doubts whether you're even worth it, just think to yourself, why would any guy give you princess treatment? Because if this is the way you feel about yourself, why would other people think differently about you? And that's why it's so important to have self-affirming thoughts, knowing that you are that girl, because like that you will also attract princess treatment into your life. Because the way you see yourself is also exactly the way other people will start to see you. Rule number 2, start working on yourself. Seriously, start to develop yourself, start to build an image for yourself. Because every girl these days wants a guy that will give them princess treatment. However, there are not many that are willing to put the work in themselves. Because reality is that these days it's not enough to just be pretty. There are millions of pretty girls on the planet. But what makes you stand out? What makes you different? And that are your passions, your goals, and what you want to achieve in this life. Because every prince loves a princess who thinks something about herself and whose image does not depend on him. A guy shouldn't define your worth. You should define your worth by yourself. And you can do that when you start to work on yourself, when you start to develop yourself, and when you start to build an image for yourself. And that also means being independent from your man, being able to make your own money and being self-sufficient. And yes, you might attract someone with your physical appearance and it might have a wow effect in the short run, but trust me, your physical appearance is not the thing what will win him over in the long run. It's how interesting and well-rounded of an individual you are that will make a man stay with you and want to give you the world. We humans, we don't fall for someone just based on how they look. We fall for them based on the connection we have. And the connection also depends how interesting and well-rounded you are and what you actually want to do with your life. When you build an image, a whole brand for yourself, you define your own worth. Your worth is not being defined by a man. And this is also when he starts to have immense respect for you, because he's aware that you don't need him, his money, or his expensive presence. Because if there's any moment where he decides to leave, you can still stay on your own 2 feet, and that is extremely attractive. I'm not saying that when you are seeing a man that you should pay for him or that you should pay for anything, but you should be able to make your own money, because when you can make your own money and you can be independent from him, he's aware that nothing holds you on to him, because you can have that amazing and nice lifestyle by yourself. You created your dream life. You are working and developing yourself. So please do me a favor and do not wait and sit around for a man to come and give you that lifestyle that you always dreamed of. But instead, create that lifestyle that you want for yourself. And then a man will automatically come into your life that will give you princess treatment and more. These types of girls that are working on themselves and can create the lifestyle that they want on their own, it illustrates how interesting, ambitious, and goal-oriented they are, because they are trying to make the best out of their life. And these girls receive immediately princess treatment because guys see their value immediately. Their value is worth a diamond. When you are being financially dependent on a man, that's exactly when you are doing yourself a disservice, because the man is perfectly aware that if you depend on him, he can treat you however he feels like. And if he ever feels like treating you like the last piece of trash, he can, because you have nowhere to go. You depend on him financially completely. Versus if you earn money yourself, you actually carry weight in the relationship and is aware that you are that girl with or without him. When a man sees that a woman has value just because of him, you need to think to yourself, how long will he be interested in this type of woman, and how long will he want to give her princess treatment? And the answer is not for a very long time. Your man might be here today and might not be here tomorrow. And instead of you having to live in the fear, oh my God, what will I do if he leaves me? You might as well build yourself up, know exactly who you are, and live your life to the fullest. And you can only live life to the fullest when you are an independent queen and not when you are reliant on your man, because there's a clear difference between living life and just existing. And trust me, if you fully depend on a man in this generation and you cannot afford the lifestyle that you want by yourself, and you can only afford the lifestyle that you want through the man, then you are just existing, because you always need to live in the fear, what is if he decides to leave me at some point? Rule number 3, love life, live life, but do not neglect your responsibility onto other people in the hopes that they will do something for you. And by that, I mean that it's time for you to finally grow up and stop putting yourself in a position of a child. Because if you are 18 or above, your life is your responsibility, and what you make out of your life is also your responsibility. Do not wait for other people to create your life. Create your life yourself. If you are 18 or above, start to figure your life out, what passions you have, and start making a living for yourself, or at least be on the path of making one, because you and your life is your responsibility. It does not matter what family you come from. What matters is the responsibility that you take for your life and what you decide to do with your life. And the sad truth is, till you do nothing and you just sit and wait for magic to happen, you're placing yourself in a position of a child. And guess what? Children, they don't need big bouquet of flowers. They do not need expensive gifts. The only thing they need is candy. So if you're neglecting the responsibility for your own life and you wait for other people to do something for you, for other people to figure out how you will live life in the future, how you will be able to make money, or you rely just on your parents for the entire lifetime. That's exactly what a child does. So do not be surprised that the men that come into your life do not give you princess treatment, because if you place yourself in a position of a child, why would any man give you princess treatment? The only people that receive princess treatment are women who are working on themselves and know that they want to make the best out of their life. So stop escaping from adulthood, embrace it, and grow the fuck up, because the time is ticking. Rule number 4, invest in your knowledge. If you ever need to decide whether to invest in a piece of clothing or into a knowledge that you can receive for the benefit of yourself, always choose to invest in your knowledge, because your feeling does not consist of what brand your dress is that you are wearing, but the depth of your individuality and developing yourself as a woman. It all starts within here. When you buy a piece of clothing, you might feel good within yourself, but that will not develop you as an individual. But what will develop you as an individual is the knowledge that you invest in yourself, and you will always get something greater in return. Also, do not ever wear fake clothes. The original versus the replicate are two different pieces of clothing. And when you're wearing something fake, you're making yourself cheap. You're just lying to yourself and to the system, because we humans, we all live in the system. And you need to be aware that if you lie to the system will act exactly the same way towards you, because you create the way you live life. And if you lie to the system will lie to you in return. So by you wearing fake clothes, or you always trying to get everything on sale, by that you're just lowering your own value and you are making yourself cheap. And that also illustrates that you have a cheap relationship with yourself. And if you have a cheap relationship with yourself, do not be surprised that all the men that come into your life will be cheap as well. Because if you treat yourself cheaply, why would other men treat you better and put your worth higher than it is if you don't see your worth by yourself? And it's also connected to the universal mind, which I explained in the beginning, that everything reflects us. Instead of buying fake clothes, it's better to wait until you can afford the original, because otherwise you're just making yourself a replicate. Whatever you give to yourself, that is what you should receive. That's simply the magic of the universe. And do not forget, the same man that treats you like trash is exactly the man that can treat another woman like the queen that she is and give her the princess treatment that she deserves. She and him are both aware of her worth. Rule number 5, start to get joy from yourself and from your own body. How often do you look in the mirror and you actually admire yourself? Instead of always criticizing yourself, just take a look in the mirror and see all the beauty that you have on the inside and on the outside. Start to admire your eyes, your hair, the way your body looks, the figure that you have. Because when you can get joy from yourself and from your body, these girls just radiate a different, completely aura, a magic one. And men will automatically be drawn to such a magic aura, and girls that are actually in love with themselves. This is why girls that start to love themselves actually glow up so fast. And I have a fun exercise for you. If you want to receive princess treatment from a particular person, just write a letter to yourself what this person sees in you. For example, write down, "Dear so-and-so, I am in love with your hair. The way you smile makes me fold. I'm so happy to give you whatever you want. It is my pleasure. You're my princess and I always want to see you smile." And you can create this love letter by yourself. See what you have. Maybe you have beautiful eyes, maybe you have an amazing figure, and that's how you will also attract this type of treatment from your man. Now let's come to the last part, which will help you to easier receive princess treatment, easier in your day-to-day life. First of all, dress and look the part. Do not let them fool you. If you are fat and ugly, no one is going to give you princess treatment. That's just how it is. Your looks matter. What you wear also matters. If you look good and you dress nice, you will receive princess treatment wherever you go. That's just simply how it is. When you look like a lady and you act like a lady, that's what you should also receive. Princess treatment. People take one look at you and determine how you treat yourself, and they will mirror you. So always pay attention the relationship that you have with yourself. And this is also being illustrated how much you take care of yourself. Step number 2, always carry yourself with class, because a guy can easily distinguish whether you are a trashy girl or a classy one. And that is not only being illustrated by the type of clothes you wear. Clothing does in fact matter as it shapes an image of the person, but it's also the way you present yourself. So always make sure to have polite manners, be well articulated, and make sure that you act like a lady, because only ladies do receive princess treatment. Step number 3 is to stop being a people's pleaser. Become the identity of the girl who receives princess treatment. And for you to be able to receive princess treatment in the first place on your day-to-day basis, your actions need to align with how a princess would act. And a princess would never put other people as her priority. Her first priority would be herself. So stop pleasing people and start to be more selfish, because it is your life. And you need to place yourself in the center of your life and not other people. Because when you are trying to please other people, you are not putting yourself as a priority. And if you're not putting yourself as a priority and you don't give yourself the treatment that you deserve, how can you expect another guy to give you that treatment? And on top of that, you also need to pay attention not to have negative self-thoughts. Whenever you find yourself having a negative thought about yourself, immediately switch it up, because when you have negative self-thoughts, you will repel everything around you, because it's what I said before, that everything reflects us to an extent. And if you talk negatively about yourself, people will also perceive you negatively. Step number 4, self-affirm yourself in public. Whether you are talking, walking, going into a store, it doesn't matter what you're doing, but always self-affirm yourself with reaffirming and positive thoughts about yourself. For example, when you're walking on the street, be confident and think to yourself, damn, I am that girl. And that's also when everyone else will view you as that girl, because the universe mirrors you. So it's extremely important, the self-talk that you have with yourself, because this will create your reality. People can subconsciously read energy, and the self-talk is your energy, and the only energy that you should be radiating is queen energy. And lastly, step number 5, have clear boundaries and self-respect. Your self-respect should always prevail than the respect you have for other people, because once someone disrespects you, you need to leave. When a guy meets you or he's in contact with you, he is aware whether you're a girl that will keep putting up with bullshit, or if you're a girl that has clear boundaries and you are aware that if he does not treat you accordingly, if he treats you like the last piece of trash, that you will show him where the exit is. If you allow yourself to be disrespected and you close your eyes on unacceptable things, it's your fault if the guy does not give you princess treatment, because you allow him to treat you like complete trash. Guy is perfectly aware that he cannot fuck with a girl that knows her worth, and that he can only give her princess treatment. And he's also aware that if he's not going to give her the princess treatment any longer, it's fine. She will just let it go and she will attract someone else that will give her that princess treatment that she deserves, and a man who will go above and beyond for her. You should always know for yourself what the norm is and what isn't. And once you see that something isn't in the norm, you should just leave. I know a lot of girls, for example, whenever they have a problem with their guy, they're going to their friends and asking them about their opinion. For example, if your guy starts liking other girls' posts on Instagram, they will go and ask their friend, oh, what do you think? Do you think it's normal for him to like other girls' pictures on Instagram? You need to know yourself what the norm is. If you already have the need to go up to your friend and ask her what she thinks, if that is the norm that your guy does that already shows that you have an issue with that. And if you cannot resolve this issue with him, and you know for yourself that deep down it isn't the norm for you, then just make your life easier and remove yourself out of the equation. With that being said, do not wait for other people to treat you differently and treat you like the princess that you are. It will happen automatically. The only thing that you need to do is start to act from this moment on like the queen that you are. Start acting, feeling, and living like one. And most importantly, start to work on yourself and actually develop yourself, because then your worth will align like one of a princess. As soon as you start to make changes on the inside, that's when you will also see all the changes that will start happening on the outside. And if you want to receive princess treatment in the short and the long run, you should always aim to attract a man who is in his masculine energy with a provider mindset, because it's exactly those type of men who are willing to give you the princess treatment that you deserve. And for that, you also need to be able to be in your feminine energy. If you actually want to learn how you can be in your feminine energy and attract all this masculine provider mindset men, just check out my latest video. I will click it in the link in my bio. And always remember, how you feel on the inside and how you act will also determine how other people will see you. So believe in your own worth. Do not let your worth be defined by a man. Get rid of any fake clothes that you may have, because like that, you are placing yourself cheap. And invest in your own knowledge, because the knowledge that you invest in yourself, it's all here, and this will always have a benefit for you in the future, and it will give you much more in return. Be selective with the people who can benefit from your energy. And whenever you have an encounter with a man, let him do things for you. Let him open the door for you. Let him order for you. Let him pull up the chair for you. Just simply sit back and relax and be in your feminine energy. As I've said, I will link the feminine energy video below. I hope you guys learned something from this video. And don't forget to do the love letter exercise as your homework, because I can guarantee you, if you write a love letter to yourself from a man's perspective that you want to receive princess treatment, you will see all the wonders that will start to happen when this man will suddenly give you princess treatment from one day to the other. Let me know guys in the comments what you think. Subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Kisses!